All right, we're on. Good evening. I'm Rusty, and this is the Stunt Hangar video chat. Welcome. And I have posted the links in the usual places, which, if you are a member of the Stunt Hangar Control Line forums, you can log in there. Once you're logged in, you're able to access the At the Bench thread where the link to this video is if you want to come in with a camera and a microphone. And if you prefer, you can go to the Stunt Hangar YouTube channel and watch us on the tube and use the chat box that is available there. On that page, you can type your questions, answers, and comments in, and I'll incorporate those into the chats with our live group over here in the video side. And we'll hopefully have some good conversations going on until midnight or later. Depends on how long the diehards last and what everybody's got to say. Good evening, Bob Bishop. He's our first tuber to show up. And so I hope we get a bunch more. Usually we have a pretty good YouTube crowd. And remember, if you are in the YouTube chat box, there is a block $sign at the bottom of it where you can drop a couple of nickels on us if you're so inclined. And that helps for Sparky's server fees and equipment. And he'll be using some of that equipment and server power at Huntersville this coming weekend, because we all converge on Huntersville for the first fly-in there and contest for the fall. October contest is always a nice big one at Huntersville, and great atmosphere. If you've never been, you really ought to try it out sometime. I always try to talk somebody who's never been into going, and I think we got a couple of people thinking about it. Hope some of them show up. I always like to meet new people, especially those of you that watch this show and that I've never met before. Last year, I think I got David Phelps to come down. Maybe that was back in May from Raleigh, and been talking to a couple of you guys that hang out on the tube, trying to talk you into making the trip. So if you can, that'd be great. And so let's have a show. We got, let's see what Bob's saying on the tube. Jack Snavely's out there too. Jack says, "Hey, Rusty, Bob, and all the rest." And Bob says, "Might even be around for a while tonight, but I'll likely be on and off." Yeah, usually that's what we expect. Bob Bishop, Huntersville is in the Charlotte metropolitan area. It is just on the northeast perimeter of Charlotte on I-485, right where I-77 connects to 485, and not far from where I-85 connects. And so let's see, what else? 77, 85, 485, that area where it all comes together. Huntersville is right there near Statesville exit. Not sure how far Statesville is, but if you're headed up from the south, you'll see the Statesville exits, and then the Huntersville will be right there. And we all stay at the Super 8. Well, I don't know that we all do, but most of us converge there and have a pool party on Saturday night, and maybe a mini gathering on Friday night. But Saturday's the big night at the motel actually, and we get beer and pizza and stuff and hang around the pool. If they let us into the pool, that's fine. If not, we hang around outside the fence and make a racket, because most of the rooms are occupied by people that are with our group, and so we can make a lot of noise without having to bother too many people. And Mike's here. He says, "Yes, I'm going to try my best to make it to the Woodruff meet." That would be the Joe Nall contest in May, and that's 2 weeks after. That's always 2 weeks after the Huntersville contest, which is almost always the first weekend in May. And Joe Nall starts the week after that, and when Joe Nall is ending, that last weekend is when we close down the control line circles to the public and have our stunt contest. And it's getting bigger and bigger, and it's a beautiful place. If you've never been to Stunt Heaven, then that's where That's where stunt heaven exists. There might be another one somewhere, but that's ours. And I swear, I think it's probably one of the best ones in the entire world. And in fact, there's been talk about submitting the possibility of Triple Tree Aerodrome for the World Championships. Now, don't say Rusty said we're going to anything. That's just, talk and wishful thinking. Hey, Gary Sinclair came on YouTube and said, hey, we're on. Rusty made it again. Yeah, Rusty made it again. Rusty ain't going to leave you high and dry. And I'm not going to Huntersville on Friday either. So we will have a Friday show this week. I'm going to go up to Huntersville Saturday morning. So that won't put a hitch in our giddy up. We'll have a Friday and then a show on Monday to tell you all about what we did in Huntersville. So that works out pretty good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm jacked. I'm going to take my Super Satan that Tom Luciano built and gave me last year. It was late last summer when he sent it to me, I think. And we took it up there with the Fox 36X needle bearing engine that he and Al Ferraro and somebody else was involved in putting that engine together. But we put just regular old stunt fuel in it and clocked it at I don't know, 118 miles an hour or something like that. And so it's a badass plane, and we're going to put it on some hot juice this year and see what we can do. And Tom's going to bring a little bit hotter engine than the one that I have and bolt it on there and really wring this thing out. So we're looking forward to that. I wish I could fly it right now, but got a ways to go before I can hang on to that baby again. And let's see. Mike says he checked the website to make sure of the date. Okay. And have they got it posted yet? Mike's over on YouTube. That's who I'm talking to. And I was wondering after I told you that if they had already got it posted. But I imagine they probably do. I hope you found out what you needed to know. Yeah, that's a beautiful place. And you're missing anybody that's never been there really should go, or you're missing out on something great. And so here we are, and it is Monday night. Hope we get some visitors in. I'm going to take this moment to double check, make sure everything is working. Let's see. I'm going to save some bandwidth by pausing my preview. It looks like the stream is running fine. We got 10 viewers already on YouTube. So we know YouTube's working. And let me check the Stunt Hangar. And that link is posted in the At the Bench thread on Stunt Hangar. So main page of Stunt Hangar. At the top is open forums. If you scroll down a little bit, look closely and read everything, and you will find a thread that is called At the Bench if you're logged in. If you're not logged in, you can't see it. And then the first link in it, you can click if you're on a computer to come in. There's other links for telephones and all that kind of stuff. You can actually call in on just a voice phone. And I hadn't tried all the different types of ways of clicking in, but try them out and see how they work. Flying control line stunt. That's Charles Carter. I see Charles has come to visit us on the YouTube side. Charles, I hope you'll come in live if you can. Oh, he says, okay, hi, Rusty. I'll join you shortly. So, and Mike also replied about Triple Tree Joe Null / Joe Null. Yes, around the end of May. I forget the date. Yes, it's usually well, Joe Null starts, I think, the week after the Huntersville contest in May. And then the third Friday, Saturday in May is when the stunt contest is. And Bob Bishop says, AV is great tonight. Well, that's good to know. Finally got everything firing on all cylinders, firing on all three. All right. So, yeah, we can have a show. I don't have a whole lot to talk about except that I was reading an interesting thread on Cox Engines forums. I was killing time before I came in here. And a lot of you might know Bernie, if you're into Half A, from Cox International. He's the vendor in Canada in British Columbia that has all of the Cox inventory. In Canada, he and X Model Engines, that's Matt, his U.S. counterpart, they split up all of the Cox inventory, and now they're supporting it, manufacturing some stuff, modifying other stuff, and keeping us supplied with bits and pieces for Cox engines and airplanes too, when they can get it. Some of them are getting rebuilt. But anyway, Bernie's curious. He was asking about the difference between ethanol and methanol. And there were a lot of answers, what they say about opinions. And if you ask 50 people, you'll get 50 different opinions. Everybody's got their own. And the best one I saw was that the methanol doesn't catalyze as well. Excuse me, ethanol doesn't catalyze as well with the platinum on the glow coils in the glow plugs, and the core material where that's coated with platinum makes a difference too, I guess, with thermal conductivity and that kind of thing. But anyway, and the smaller the engine, the less success you're likely to have. And methanol is said to have a higher vapor pressure than ethanol. And so that it might explain why you have to adjust compression. And the little engines, the tiny ones like the 010 and the 020, might not have enough combustion chamber capacity to run on an ethanol based fuel, which would be like well, let's see, yeah, if you just take ethanol, mix it with 20% castor oil or whatever your favorite mix is, and appropriate amount of nitromethane, the ethanol blend won't get as much oomph as the methanol blend will. I've run on the mixture. The clean strip that Walmart sells is denatured alcohol, and I think it's half methanol, half ethanol, and it ran pretty good with my Thunder Tiger ball bearing 25, but not so much in my smaller 049 size engines. I think I tried running it in an MP Jet 049 and or excuse me, a MP Jet 061, and the MP Jet didn't like it. That's a Czechoslovakian glow engine, and it is not a jet. It's just a glow engine. MP Jet is the name of the company. They make a couple of badass little engines. I've got a factory race special and a regular plain bearing MP Jet 061, and forum member Fit 90, his name's Bob from Cox Engine Forums, sent me those engines. Over the years he sent me one, and then years later he sent me another one, and I've bench run and played with both of them. And I put the plain bearing in the air before. I've never put that factory race special in the air. I had trouble cranking it. They give you in the instructions, they tell you to use FAI fuel. I never can crank anything that size with FAI fuel, unless I prime it with 35% half A fuel, and then they crank up and they run okay. But everything runs better with nitromethane, vitamin N. So let's see. Let's see. I got somebody to boot out of here. Just a second, and we'll take care of that. Hide user on this channel, and let's see. I gotta get another one, and there we go. And they are gone. Yeah. So if you want to come in here and post crap, it's not going to stay up. Thank you. Yeah, Gary Sinclair agrees with me. Jonal is a must for all modelers at least once. Yeah, people come from all over the world to see Triple Tree Aerodrome. Archibald Whitman says, big tough guy makes little planes. Yeah. don't know about big tough guy, but okay, hang on. I got a whole rash of garbage coming in. We'll take care of it in just a second. And somebody's coming in. CC must be Charles Carter. Hey, Charles.
Hey, what's up?
Not much right now. I'm banging out trolls in the chat box. They're coming in quick. Yeah.
They got nothing better to do.
Nah, somebody that doesn't like geezers. You're in the wrong place if you don't like geezers. What do you do, Charles? Do you say remove or hide user on this channel?
I have no idea. I haven't had the pleasure of doing that.
Oh, you hadn't done that in
No,
the YouTube chat?
no.
So, let me double check. I'm sorry, people. I'm having to interrupt the show to take care of the pirates. Make sure I got them all. I do for now. It'll probably continue. It's probably the same person with a bunch of different channel names. When I had them, I wish they would just disappear from me so it wouldn't look so cluttered.
Right.
Anyway, so what you been doing for fun, Charles?
You know, I've been flying. Today I had a pretty good day today. I actually put up quite a few trim flights. I'm getting ready for a contest also. I know you're just talking about Huntersville, but we have out here in California the Golden State Stunt Championships, and that's this weekend also. And anybody out in the this side of the United States, I'd recommend you come out to that show. That is a great contest. It's I think it's only second to the Nats. It's a really nice contest.
Yeah. Well, the Nats is from what I hear so serious that it's sometimes hard to have fun. Um,
Yeah, I
sorry.
guess it could be. I had a lot of fun. I mean, I met a lot of nice people, and it was what I found was kind of interesting was you know who Richard Oliver is? You
I
know of
do.
okay, so anyways, we had never met. I had spoken to him on the phone, but we've never met. And hey, Sparky. And so, anyways, I introduced myself to Richard Oliver, and he says the first thing he says, because I know you, I see you on the um, the video chat every week. And I said, wow, I
Oh,
thought that was
wow.
pretty cute, pretty cool. So, and there was other people who said they recognized me from this platform we use.
Yeah, I see people all the time come up to me when I go to Huntersville. I especially see a lot of people that come talk to me. There was one uh, called his name's Tim Redelman, and that's a familiar name. You've probably seen that in the
Yeah,
forums.
actually,
Yeah, and
yeah,
I was
Put
telling him,
your
hey man,
camera
come.
up or slouch down, Rusty. We're looking at the middle of your chest.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm uh, I'm so busy banging spammers out that I'm not paying attention to everything. Got it. That look better?
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe you can help me out while I'm in here watching the YouTube chat box. So we got a bunch of trolls. I think we're clean now. Okay. Now I can sit back and relax.
For a little bit, for a second, maybe.
Yeah.
Come ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, tell Jeff Riley I got his Fox 35 right here. If I
Oh, it's in
can't,
the box. All right.
it's in the box. If I can't get to the post office, I'm going to bring it to Huntersville, Rusty, and I'm going to have you mail it for me, all right?
Okay. I reckon I can do that.
I'll give you the money, obviously, but
I've got yeah, that's fine because I've got a box I need to take to the post office too. So, yeah, I can take two of them at the same time.
yeah, I put it in the box. I got that other motor that that OS32F today, and I just took it out of its box and gonna send it his box and that box. So there.
Yeah.
Has it got a yellow head on it?
No, that's tape where I taped the valve. Tape the needle valve to the head so it don't get bent.
Hey, Charles, Bob Bishop wants me to ask you if they still hold the Cal Western meet in LA. Do you know about that?
I don't recognize that name. I know in LA we have the Palmer, and we have the Dale Kern Joust, and there's the High Johnson, and there's
Round circle, wasn't it?
say it again.
Dale Kern Joust or whatever. That was Knights of the Round Circle.
Right.
Yeah, that's the club that when I was a kid.
Yeah. So the other club, the Circle Burners out there in Sepulveda Basin, they have a couple contests, but I don't remember that name, Cal West.
Yeah.
At one time I met this older gentleman. I don't know if he's still alive, but he told me one year out here in California, he competed in 23 contests back in the day when it was really hopping. So it's definitely slowed down. That might have been one of those contests that went away. But I don't know. I've never been to the Cal West. I don't even know where it would be held at.
That's west of Calexico.
Oh, okay.
Riley's on. He says he hears you. He'll be here in a little bit.
Yeah. But anyway, we're gonna get it to him one way or another.
Okay. Yeah, I'll help you out with that.
It's just hard for me to get to the post. I got a job. I got to work.
Yeah. Well, I got a trip to the post office planned, so I'll take care of it. No problem.
Well, make it after Huntersville.
Yeah, I will.
Hey, Sparky, do you continue to trim your planes? I know you don't fly maybe as often as I fly, but have you done any trim adjustments to the to a plane that you've been flying for a while, or once you get it done, you don't ever see a need to trim anymore?
Once I get it done, I don't see a need to be moving lead outs and prop. I mean, you flew my plane. Was it in trim?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that wasn't in trim was me.
That airplane was trimmed 2 years ago, and I had changed nothing.
Wow.
I don't even adjust the needle valve. What did I tell you? Don't touch the needle valve.
Right.
Yeah, it's nice to have an engine that's that dependable where you don't have to touch the needle valve. But seems like when your elevation and temperature changed, you have to a little bit.
Nope. Change the nitro. I don't adjust a needle valve. I change the nitro.
Okay.
So when you adjust the nitro, I mean, does it take several flights to get the right mixture, or you just have an idea what works?
I know what works. I have I have fuel that's 5, 7.5, and 10%.
Yeah, for a low altitude like sea level, you could go with 5, then a higher altitude you go with 10, then.
Right. And the heat as the heat comes up, you want more nitro.
Yeah.
Now you think, well, you got to open the needle valve up. Nah, not really. My tank's big enough that it runs. You fill it up. I do it the same way every time. I fill it all the way full and draw out an ounce, or on one particular airplane, or draw out 2 ounces. I kind of know where it's at, and it'll run all the way to the end of its 8 minutes. You got 7 minutes and 30 seconds, or 7 minutes and 45 seconds, and then you don't have to mess with the needle valve because you can just adjust the nitro then. But if you want to cut it right on the line where you got 5 minutes, 38 seconds, you're going to have to be dicking with the needle valve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, since flying with you, Sparky, I've actually adopted your system. So I actually fill my tank and I draw out fuel now as well. And I really like that because it gives me the peace that if there was a delay or something happens at a contest, and if I have any uncertainty about the fuel, I always can just fill it up again, even if I just top it off and then take out that same amount of fuel again. It's just a much simpler and better way than how I was doing before. I used to just measure the fuel and put that fuel in.
Yeah, but you never
I
know
like,
when there's a little bit already in there.
yeah. As for his system, I'm actually filling it up and drawing out whatever I need to draw out,
Yeah.
and I like that much better.
Well, guys like me that still fly profiles can put transparent clump tanks on the side of it and see where the fuel is when you put it in. So that makes it easy. But
Yeah, that would.
you guys that fly real stunt planes can't do that.
Well, I've been flying super taggers since they came out, so 30 some years. I set them up the same way. I run the same propeller, run the same venturi size, the same nitro, the same needle set, and I don't use a tack. Everybody's, you gotta tack it, you gotta tack it.
Yeah.
And here's my tack. Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know when my engine sounds happy, I don't use the tack either. Not unless I'm just curious about how fast it's turning for some reason.
Now, PAs are so finicky that you got to have them right on the edge, 1 or 200 RPM, and they'll run away from you.
I hate that kind of engine.
I think that's due to the pipe being too short.
Think it's temperature related because of the short pipe.
Oh, yeah. When they're that critical, I think it's because of the pipe length.
So, Sparky, you are competing this weekend too, Sparky? Are you flying?
Yeah, Huntersville. 3 more wake ups, and then we take off.
Yep. I'll be there Saturday. I'm going to leave as early as I can Saturday morning. I'm not a morning person, so I don't know what time we'll get out of here.
I'll fly 2 events, profile, and I'm going to fly the one you flew, Charles.
Very nice. I saw a video with John's Jordan's shop, and he's building a June R also, right?
Yep. Yep. Matter of fact, when we built our 2 airplanes, my cowl will fit on his airplane and his will fit on mine. And we built them for 15 miles apart. But and there are no plans for it. It's all by numbers. You know, I get asked all the time, do you have plans for the June R profile? Do you have plans for the June R XL? I really like Billy's June R. Well, that's not Billy's June R, and I don't have plans. It's all right here. It's out of my head. I just don't use plans. Because I'm always changing something.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the Tucker Special, I use plans on that. And it's not the same construction-wise.
Yeah, anybody that's watched all of your videos, that we don't see you going to consult with a blueprint and then coming back and measuring something and then going back and looking at the blueprint again. That's what I do, but we never see you do that.
Just take a measurement, and that's what it is, and remember it and go for it.
Yep.
And when you lay the airplane on the plan, they fit. It's all numbers. I did get the airfoil off the plan. I did measure the wingspan. The construction is not the same, as you can tell. Left out a lot of ribs, probably half of them. If you're going to build light, you got to leave parts out and use light wood. I got to tell you, I wish you could see this thing. The wingtips on this thing are so sweet. They're like a bowling ball. They're just smooth as glass.
Yeah, you said you had it with 1500 paper. Is that what you
Yeah.
said it was? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my my $15 a sheet Japanese tissue on it from England. I'll probably, John's has some construction going on at his house right now, so we're not going to be doing that until that's done. But I will probably go over his house and we'll probably do a video because it's going to take 4 hands to do the Japanese tissue on this because Japanese tissue is a pain in the ass.
Sounds like you and John are making some plans to up the professionalism of the videos. That's cool.
Yeah, make them more like Bob Hunt's videos. It's just so hard to do without a plan, without a cameraman, without correct lighting, without the sound, you know. And I got all the stuff. I just don't have enough hands.
One thing I want to tell you, Sparky, is that your videos are not boring. Even the parts where you're just sanding, you know, and you're thinking this has got to be boring. It's not boring. And I've talked to other people who tell me the same thing.
Well, I don't know how you can sit through it because I can't sit through Wendy's videos.
Yours aren't as long as Wendy's.
Well, I'm not showing birds and fish and motorcycles and stuff, but
and his wife's dogs and his wife's garden and stuff.
Wendy is a hell of a craftsman, but he uses way, way too much lumber. If I was building with him, I'd leave that part out, leave that part out, leave that part. You don't need all that.
Yeah.
He builds them like a tank. Well, you're building a Strega, so well, that's a Greenaway airplane, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. It's a modified pattern master.
Yeah. With an airfoil that's that thick.
Yeah, it's thick.
What years was it that Big Jim was building those? Was that in the 80s?
Well, the Striga came out in 85.
Did it?
Yeah.
What about the Pattern Master? When was the Pattern Master conceived and built?
I don't know.
I'm not exactly sure.
Mike says, hey, Sparky, was that a P-47 with the molded parts of Bill Warwick's design? I saw it listed in the AMA plan site.
My P-47 was a Bill Warwick design, but I'll tell you the story on this. In 2004, one more time, I went to the Worlds and I watched Billy's airplane fly, and I was so impressed with the performance of it. I said, I got to have one of those. So I asked for a set of drawings. I don't need plans. I just need some drawings. Numbers. He says, there aren't any. I said, no problem. I went to the car. I got my tape measure, my dressmaker's tape, and I brought it out there to the L-pad, and I started measuring. Well, the wingspan is this, the nose moment's this, trailing edge, blah, blah, blah. Took all the measurements, wrote them down. I took about 200 pictures of it, and they said, what are you doing? I said, well, I'm going to build a couple of these. And they kind of laughed. They said, yeah, right, whatever. Who is this guy? He's going to build on that. Well, I built 3 of them. And the best compliment I got from Bob Hunt was, you can't tell if this came off of Billy's bench or not. Well, the problem was with my Thunderbolts and with all the Thunderbolts that I've seen since, Billy was standing on Circle 4, and he said, you built all them Thunderbolts, you going to build any more? I said, no. He said, why? I said, because it's a poor design. His head just about snapped off his neck. He said, what do you mean a poor design? I said, well, I wasn't informed that your airplane was only 53 ounces. This airplane here is a pound heavier, and it don't fly with a crap, and I don't see how you can build it any lighter. But he has magic wood, so.
Wow.
His airplane is 53 ounces, and that's not a joke, because I have judged it, held it in my hand at appearance judging, seen it on the scale, 53 ounces. And mine was close to 70. You know, just no good. Big difference.
Wow, that is a big difference.
I think 68 or 69 ounces was mine. Of course, I had a PA 75 in mine. He had a 61 in his. I had a 15.5 propeller, so I had enough drive. It flew great, but when the engine stopped, it was with that big opening in the front. It was just like a big air brake. You could hear from the center of the circle the air rushing down the fuselage. So that's it. So I built 3 of those. I was going to build an electric one. Well, which I did. It's on the video lineup, electric Thunderbolt, and I got to, and it turned out great. The pilot was great. Everything, all the paintwork was great. I got to think, you know, this thing is electric now, and I'm going to get out of electric because they don't have the power that I need, and it's going to be 65 to 70 ounces, and it's going to be electric. So I sold it to Tom Morris, and Tom Morris sold it to Ty Marcucci. So you'll see it out there. It was coming out nice. I mean, you can see the detail on the build threads, the electric Thunderbolt. The pilot that I got, oh man, pilot was the greatest. But it was $25 for, I can't remember where I got it, but really good pilot.
You know, when I was there at the Nats, I met Tom Dixon for the first time. When we spoke on the phone, I've even purchased things from Tom Dixon before, but I never met him before. And he had a plane out there that the pilot was made out of balsa wood, was carved and painted by some famous person. And that,
yeah, I could pick mine up at Huntersville this year. It's been a year. It's made by Tommy Looper. He is the world's greatest pilot carver.
That's who it was.
I
Yes.
didn't know that. I like Tommy. He's pretty cool, dude.
Yeah. Tommy Looper can carve a pilot that looks real and weighs nothing.
Yeah. That was pretty cool when I saw that pilot. All detailed and painted. It was beautiful.
I hope he brings it to Huntersville. I've been waiting for a long time for it. He said he was gonna bring it to Joan All, but he didn't. He got sick or something. So I said, okay, well, bring it to Huntersville. And if he doesn't, oh well. I'll get one someday. Yeah, Tommy's the greatest. If you're watching, Tommy, you better get carving. You only got about 4 days left.
Yeah. Mike says he's got a couple of drawings for rubber-powered Thunderbolts, and he's thinking about scaling one up for control line.
Forget it.
Do that. Scale it up.
Forget it. Ain't gonna work.
Why you think that won't work? Why won't it scale up?
There's not enough wing on a scale airplane. Those Gallows rubber band Thunderbolts are scale airplanes, and there ain't enough wing there. Fuselage is about this big around, and the wings are about like that. It's like a GB. Yeah. If I were to build another Thunderbolt, I would use this wing that I'm using in my Junars on it. And I might try another Thunderbolt, maybe. But I would, have to. I still got the molds to mold the top and bottom. I would have to try everything in my power to make it under 60 ounces.
Now, Thunderbolt, is that a radial engine plane, the full-size Thunderbolt?
Yes.
Okay.
That thing was a tank. I mean, it would take a lot of battle damage and still come home.
Mm-hmm. Man, we've been having sparse crowds in the video side over here lately. Need for some of you YouTube guys to come join us.
Yeah, that's why I came in to help out.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
I was pretty good at talking off the cuff tonight, but I was running.
Good. You was doing good. You definitely was.
I was running pretty low on gas by the time you came in, though.
Well, you didn't have any dead air. You was doing good, man. I was impressed.
Yeah, I'm getting my swag back, slowly but surely.
Oh, one other thing I wanted to tell you, Sparky, and I learned so much from you at the Nats, and I really appreciate it. One thing you taught me. Remember when I was flying your Junar, and I was coming out of corners, and it was kind of coming out, it bumped coming out of the corner, and you told me to turn the legs on the handle.
Right.
Well, today my Strega was doing something similar to that, and I was trying to figure out how to fix it. First I thought, well, I have something you don't like already. I know you don't like the Raby rudder. I have a Raby rudder, so I took out most of its movement so it wouldn't do that. And then I thought, well, let me move the lead outs. Let me play with the wingtip weight. And then when I was packing up today, I remembered you telling me about lengthening the legs. So I lengthened it at the field, but I'm going to fly tomorrow and see how that works out. But I'm pretty confident that's going to make a difference, adjusting the legs on it.
The closer you move the pivot point back to the center of the handle, the more it acts like power steering. And the farther you move it away, it'll react. It'll equalize. You kind of got to make a drawing, of a handle, and then the lines, and then twist the handle and see how the lines work. It'll self-equalize better if you slide the head. Don't do it much. Move it out, 1/16 of an inch at a time.
Yeah, actually, on my legs, I actually made some marks that are 1/16 of an inch graduations. So I'm going to go out little by little by little.
You move it out, you may end up hitting the ground. If you go a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch, it will not be the same airplane.
Right. Yeah, so I'm kind of excited to get back out there tomorrow and try that.
Take the wiggly rudder off, set it to whatever you're going to set it at. You don't need something inducing yaw in it. Put the wingtip, bench trim this airplane. Set it down on the ground. Pick up the spinner. The outboard wingtip should just easily roll to the outside. You only need enough weight for the lines. My airplanes are built where they use 1/4 to a 1/2 ounce. And it'll just roll real easy to the outside. That's it. Then hopefully you got the wingtip weight in the right spot. From the center of the lead outs to the center of the bell crank to the wingtip weight box should be a straight line. So that's where your lead outs need to be. Don't hang them up in the air and dangle them around and all that. Usually it ends up lead out positions usually end up between 3/4 of an inch to an inch behind the center of gravity. For landing, put the nose on the ground, see if the landing gear is in the right place, let it go, and the tail should just slowly fall to the ground. If it falls too fast or too far forward, if it doesn't fall at all, they're too far back. It's real simple shit.
Right.
Have your helper look at the airplane, make sure the wings are flying level. I don't like twisting flaps, but if you're out at the field and you got no other way, you could twist the flaps until you get it flying level. But once you get it back home, I would twist them back so they're level and then steam the wing straight.
Right. Yeah, fortunately my flaps are removable, so if I have to do that, I can just take them off and then bend the horn itself.
Well, that's lucky.
Yeah. Oh, we getting some company.
Yeah.
Hey, Tryon.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, hey, Tryon.
Wow.
You with us, Tryon?
Yes, I'm with you.
Oh, okay. Good evening. Glad to
Good
have
evening.
you. We've missed you for the past few shows.
Yeah, just I was a bit busy with school and stuff.
School and life. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I figured.
hmm Yeah, I'm just once in a while I get time and I show up. So
Yeah. Well, thanks
that's
for
that.
coming in. We need some extra bodies in here to carry the conversations.
Mm. What's the subject right now?
We're talking about we're talking about trimming planes right now.
Uh,
Yeah, my
okay.
plane when it comes out of a hard corner trying, it kind of yaws a little bit. Sometimes it actually waves the wings with
hmm
like a wing walk, and I've been trying to figure out what to do about that.
So why would a plane do that? Unless you have a big prop and he wants to turn the plane. Is it
He's got
lucky?
a big rudder on it.
It's an outboard yaw, inboard yaw, on inside corners, outside corners, or which one?
Well, I mostly notice it on inside corners, like on the inside square, the last corner when I come out of that, or even like on a triangle, particularly a triangle. Oh my God!
What size
hmm
propeller? 13?
What?
What size propeller?
Oh yeah, it's a 13, three blade 13.
That ain't a big prop.
Yeah, that's a heavy one probably too. Yeah, you need the Ray brother.
No,
No?
Well,
no.
Sparky was just dissing the Ray Rudder before
Okay.
you came in.
Throw it away.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should say
Right.
disagreeing.
I actually like the Raid Runner. I have some flying buddies, and they poo poo it. Pretty much I don't really find it very hard to find any fan or advocate of a Raby Rudder. I
Why do
see.
you think that? Why do you think the Ray rudder was invented? I want you to look at Al Raid's airplanes, his Bearcats. They're great big fuselages with little tiny wings. So he's extracting the most performance out of an airplane that doesn't fly. I mean, they're terrible. But but Al was a master at getting every bit of performance out of that. His airplanes were scale. They look scale.
hmm
Well, Wendy used the Ray Al
I
the Raby Rudder on every plane, but his twins had a Raby Rudder, and he said you wouldn't build one without it. And
yeah.
I know
Yeah,
Keith
there's
also has used the Raby Rudder. There's
mhm.
a very few of us out there. The overwhelming majority do not use it.
Yes.
I understand that.
Well, it's some people swear at it and some people swear by it.
Yeah.
It all depends who you talk to. So that's that. I think the one that swear at it are the ones that didn't know how to set it up.
That's
The ones who swear by it is the ones who learn how to set it up properly and max the, like Sparky just said, about maybe a plane that has really needs it and you know how to do it. That's that.
If you want to
Um,
know about the Ray rudder, Charles, you want to talk to Keith Trossel because he's got the Bearcat and
right.
he's got a different setup for his Raby rudder that does not work off the elevator. It works off a cam, and he has different cam profiles that go in that rudder. Have you seen what I'm
that's
talking about?
Yeah, I know.
that was the
The
next thing I
articles
want to
about it.
suggest. That
Yeah.
was the very next thing I want to suggest, Spark. Exactly that, because the cam, you can change the cam, and you can change the way the Raby rudder acts to different throws, different whatever. You can customize it with that. But yeah, that's I would definitely do something like that, Charles. If you can put a cam in it or play with it.
Get a hold of Keith. He'll probably give you a drawing on how it works.
Al
Yeah.
Ferraro just posted over on Al Ferraro just posted over on YouTube. Move the lead outs back a quarter of an inch. I guess that's in lieu of a Raby Rudder. I don't know.
Mm. Yeah, but now, like, let's think about it. Charles, are you talking about the Strega?
Yeah. Yeah. My Striga that I'm flying right now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big plane with a big, huge, fat wing, you know. So it should have enough drag on it, enough, stuff to stabilize that kind of tremendous amount of yaw.
Oh,
What do
I
you think,
want to tell you
Sparky?
about moving those pivot points out, Charles. That's not for a yaw. That's
Why
for a,
no?
that's for a hop. When you come down, you want to
Yeah. I was just gonna try it and see if it helps. Maybe it might help.
try it.
Yeah, it won't hurt. I always can put it back if it doesn't work. Or if I see it making a difference, then I'll continue. But if it's not making a difference, I'll just put it back.
Quit monkeying with it.
What about just a bigger rudder, or a dorsal fin?
It has both. It has a bigger rudder and a dorsal fin.
Mm-hmm.
The one I have is bigger than the stock Strega.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It was too big at one point. I actually had to shave it down because it was weather vaning. So I shaved it down a little bit, but I think it's still bigger than the stock one. Still taller, I mean.
I'm gonna go get me some coffee. I'll be right back.
Now I have long landing gear. I've been meaning to make new landing gear. Would that make a difference too?
Yeah.
Landing gear is not spinning.
But
it
it
has
would make a difference. If they're hanging way down below the center of gravity.
Yeah, they are.
Lateral side. Yeah, it will. Noblers, they had a big problem with those. They had those little door things on them.
Right.
If you got the doors cocked wrong, the airplane would fly weird.
Okay. Yeah, I'm buying that.
Yeah, I was thinking about making shorter landing gear anyway. That's one of my to-do lists before this contest, is to shorten those things up because they're longer than they need to be.
Mm-hmm. Mine are shorter than they need to be.
Yeah, but I fly on grass, a rough field.
Uh-huh.
But even though my field is grass and sometimes it gets tall, I just went a little bit too overboard on that.
Mm-hmm.
I had when I built this Junar profile, I had those landing gear bent at a 5/32 at Brodax. And the reason why I had them bent at Brodax is because they got that hydraulic machine. It did a really super nice job. But, it's very hard to cut. The landing gear was the first thing that I made before I built the airplane. So they were about an inch too tall. So we had John, took them over John's place, and somehow we got them bent in his bender. But he cut them down an inch. It was 5/32 wire, some beefy shit.
Yeah, that's what I have in my Strega, 5/32 wire.
Yeah.
It's I have the two KNS wire benders. I have the big one.
Yeah, well, I got the big one too, but I don't mean shit. 5/32 wire, some stout stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
To get a nice bend on, because that old man that's back there at Rodax, he does a super job. I said I want them like this, and bam, bam, and they were just bent perfect, with that machine.
Yeah. Well, if you get the accurate measurements and you put it in the right spot, they should be fine. And the machine helps, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's that.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, here we go.
There's my gear.
Oh, okay.
I got about probably ground clearance now. It had about 2 inches of ground clearance. That was too tall.
Mm-hmm. This is the new profile.
Yeah, I'm gonna test fly it tomorrow.
Oh, I thought you flew it already.
Nice. No, I just finished it. Been sitting on the paint stand at John's house for a month or better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you bench run the motor? Probably not, right?
5 runs.
All right. That sounds good.
Oh yeah, that's that ABC Brian Gardner Super Tiger 60. Yeah, it works. If it don't work good, I'll put my Super Tiger out of my Monado in it. Run it. I got another liner here. And Jeff sent me another Super Tiger so I can build another. Of course, I have another Super Tiger here. I got lots of Super Tigers.
Yeah, so by the looks of it, you don't like super tigers at all, right?
No, I don't like
You really can't stand them.
They're antiquated and obsolete. He doesn't like them.
Yeah, he hates them. You know.
I got Kenny. Oh, what the hell? Kenny Stevens said at the Cincinnati contest. He said that's exactly like a Super Tiger's supposed to run. It beeps at the top. I said, well, they've been doing that for 30 years. Same shit. You know, I like that old stunt run. You know, I love it.
Yeah.
How'd they go again, Sparky?
No, that's okay. You feel the Charger works good in the wind.
Oh, that plane was man. I'm so glad that I flew that plane because I've been always wanted to know what a good plane flies like. All I knew was what I knew, and so now when I came back, you know, I didn't like any of my airplanes, and but I've gotten the Strega to with the Stalker 81. I've gotten it to fly pretty good, but I mean I know it's nothing like a 50 8.5 ounce plane. I mean I know that's where I want to be, somewhere in that ballpark. I hope to get the Strega I'm building down in the low 60s. That's what I hope to do.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you could just make a brand new wing for the Strega, keep the airfoil, whatever, you know, and just build a geodesic kind of construction for it, and
You know,
that
I was
should
thinking
knock out a lot of weight.
Yeah, I think. See, I'm not really sure if I'm gonna stay with Stregas and just move on to the something else. I mean, I would like to build a Junar too.
Yeah, they're all good planes, you know.
Oh yeah, I would like to do that. Right now, I just want something I can get done relatively quick, even though I'm not building relatively quick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, aren't you retired?
No, I'm kind of. No, I'm not retired. I got young kids. I have a 15-year-old. I have a 13 and a 12-year-old, and I have a wife who's disabled.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not
Okay.
retired.
Oh, I got it. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
That's all
I
right.
didn't know that.
I was once retired. Now I'm reworking.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning toward that too. As I went to Social Security last week to see where I'm at, and I'm thinking, I don't know. I'm trying to weigh my options,
Mm-hmm.
if I
Yeah.
could retire or not.
Hold off as long as you can.
Yeah, that's what some people say to do that. I've had people on both ends of the spectrum giving me advice. Some who are saying what you're saying, and some say you don't know what your future has in store. You know,
Mm-hmm.
some people
Yeah.
wait and wait and wait, and then they get the maximum dollar, and then they get sick and they can't do anything and they die. It's kind of like it's a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
Retire and have great health at 70. Yeah, wonderful, but that's not a promise to everybody.
Well, my dad has started taking his retirement, his Social Security at 62. He's now 96. He's got his money's worth. He said he
did.
got more out than he put in.
Wow, that is fantastic. Yeah, I'm in pretty good health, but I've talked to other guys, and they said, yeah, they was in good health at 61 too. So you just never know what life has in store for you. But
Yeah.
I think flying model airplanes help keep me in good shape and keeps me young.
Yeah, man, that's what has been my lifeblood for the past I don't know 10 or 12 years anyway. And I always had before that I was an avid fisherman. Still would be if I could. And so yeah, I don't sit on the couch and watch TV all day. That's how you die.
Yeah.
Stand on my feet. I've been standing on my feet all day long forever.
Yeah.
Do you stand on your feet on concrete all day, Sparky?
All day long.
That's tough.
I'm kind of 50-50.
In engineer boots.
Yeah.
I've been doing that since the 70s.
I think we all want more time to do what we like. If I had more time, I would just probably pursue. For sure, I would pursue that 40 size electric with uh, geodesic elliptical wings.
Mm-hmm. Train, are you coming up to Huntersville?
Uh, Let me see what I how am I sitting with the stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
if I can, I will. I'd love
I'll
to.
be there Saturday, spend the night, go back home Sunday. So
Yeah, yeah.
Why are you considering an elliptical wing, Brian?
Why?
Yeah,
Because I think they fly a lot better than the straight taper ones.
very inefficient design. You can look at any of the publications from.
I think it's quite the opposite. They're most efficient.
Okay, you lose all that wing area.
No, you don't.
Okay,
Okay. You what you do, you have a little bit more wingspan to it, and maybe
yeah,
a little bit more depth, but overall, the surface area is the same. It's this defend. It all depends on the shape, Sparky. I mean, if you kept the same wingspan and the same depth to the flaps and to the chord of the wing on a root, yes, you're gonna get a smaller wing area. Correct, yeah. But you probably want to have a little bit more chord to them and just a tiny bit more wingspan. Overall, we have the same surface area. But they do fly a lot better because, um,
okay.
yeah, everything I've seen in flying in a wind, the best ones are just, you know, you have the sharks and you have the elliptical wings, the Spitfires, that Windy built, and they flew great in a wind. I mean, just like I don't know. I think that's the ticket. And if you look in aviation in general, yeah, so straight taper, it's easy to produce, it's easy to manufacture and stuff like that. Absolutely right, right? But you know, who could outturn in a World War II, the Spitfire or the Messerschmitt? It's the Spitfire would outturn the Messerschmitt all the time, right?
No, well, it had the motor.
Well, it can no negative G, yeah, of course, and that's what the guys, the good pilots knew. The good pilots knew that if they get a Spitfire negative dive, that they're gonna flood the engine and they can get behind them and take them out. And some Spitfires were going for that maneuver over there, but it's not the wing, it's not the aerodynamics. So, anyways, yeah. What I think it's a Sparky, what I think it's a mistake. I may be wrong, I don't know, but I think it's a mistake that we keep more thickness on the wingtip than we actually use right now. I think it's way too much what we use.
Well, that's why you look at Billy's wings; they taper way down.
Yeah, yeah, and I think even those are just still have a lot.
you're
But
talking about thinning the airfoil towards the tip or thinning the wing cord
Read
towards
Bob
the tip?
Galvini's barbell effect article. That'll explain things. You start spanning stuff away, and you're moving all that stuff away from the center of gravity. Makes it very inefficient. So Billy's tape, even these wings are tapered way down at the tips.
yeah, so what we are talking about, uh, Rusty, we're talking about the aspect ratio of the wing. If you look at the chord versus the thickness,
Yeah.
if you divide the I think it's the thickness divided by chord, it gives you so much percentage of the wing, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I
Right?
already understand what you're
Yeah,
getting at
yeah.
now.
Okay. Now, because we keep the thickness of the wing kind of constant on a lot of designs, the Stregas,
Yeah.
the anything that comes from Big Jim Greenway kind of designs, the
Hmm.
family of planes, right? They you look at them and they have like 20 some 20% on the root and on a tip there are 22, if not more, because with the taper keeping the cord the thickness the same, the relative thickness is a lot bigger. So you should be at least 3%, if not more, uh, less thickness on a tip than on a root, on a straight taper wing. So if it's 20 on a root, you probably want any 16, 17 on a tip thickness, right? In addition to the taper.
Yeah.
So what it does, that reduces the amount of lift on the wingtips. It gives you a nicer lift distribution. So because right now I have so much lift distribution concentrated on the wingtips, right? Okay, when you fly it in a wind, even the slightest unbalance in it, it makes the plane, and you can see the plane flying in a wind. They rock like this a lot, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the shark flying in a wind, it doesn't do anything. He just cuts to the wind.
Yeah.
But a shark is not an elliptical wing. It has a really strange airfoil design. If you look at it, it stays real thick to about, I don't know, probably 2/3 out, and then it kind of, it has a turn to it. I've never seen a wing design. You couldn't build that in wood. It would have to be molded the way that it's designed.
Yeah, but I think from what I know, Shark has the same airfoil, but if you look from the top view of the wing, Shark uses the profile, the plan view of the wing to give you the elliptical lift. So you can do the two school of thoughts are if you go a straight taper, then you have less percentage on the tip, right? Or you can go with the elliptical shape and keep the same airfoil all the way through. They both kind of achieve the same thing.
Have you ever looked at a shark from the nose? Look at it from the front. It goes out and it stays thick to about 2/3 out.
Like I said, it's from what I know. Okay, I can be wrong. Okay, I'm not insisting on it, but just having the elliptical shape on a wing, that's a plus, right there.
I put up a link to the numbers for everything.
Where's it at? I don't see it.
It's in the chat.
Oh, it's on the Stunt Hangar YouTube.
On this Jitsi, open the chat up and it should be in there. It opens up a Wikipedia page to get the number, design, coefficient of drag, and wing shapes and stuff.
Oh, I see it now.
6 to 1, half dozen the other.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to go with a straight taper, just give the thinner wingtip. That's all you need to do. If it's 20% on the root, make it 16, 17 on the tip. You're gonna be fine. Or if you wanna, you can go the other way. So that's all I'm saying. But I think the current wingtips that are carried on the current, it's way too much.
When you look at the top of an elliptical wing, like this Spitfire, Windy Spitfire, for example, the platform loses so much wing area out at the tips. That may be good or whatever for those airplanes, but I just don't think they're as efficient as like a geobolt wing or I like this new wing that I'm using now.
Yeah. Well, the design I was thinking about on the 40, I'm using some numbers from the vector plane. And I did look on a vector plane. I was looking at its surface area. And I did some calculations over there. So when I designed the wing, I just made it a little bit more chord, a little bit more span on it. So I kept the same area. But another thing I've done to it, I thinned out the airfoil a little bit on the tip. And I also thinned it out even more on the root.
Take a piece of paper, take your shoe, make careful with your shoe, and you got it.
I'll get the job done.
It does work.
I gotta buy a pair of shoes now.
It does work.
But it's just so I know you don't agree with this what I'm about to say next, but I think when I see people that have to add so much nose weight to balance the plane, I said, why don't you just make just a longer tail, move the tail backwards a little bit more? Because I think it has a tremendous amount of influence in the way the plane flies. Um, it's just simple physics, So, but well, just everybody likes to do something different, and that's fine.
Now think about what you just said. Everybody's adding nose weight. Why would you make the tail longer if you're adding nose weight? You want to take the weight out of the nose and lighten up the tail.
Wait a sec. No. They what I meant by that, they add tail weight.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So somebody said I had to add so much tail weight to balance the plane and stuff like that. I said, and I was thinking automatically, I mean, you can have the tail a little bit, like 3/4 of an inch longer, if not more, 1 inch longer.
It doesn't take much to get enough leverage to make up the difference.
Shorten the nose up. That's what I do. Move the tank stuff back.
Mm-hmm.
Want to keep the center of gravity. Keep all the weight as close to the center of gravity as you can. And so if you're coming out tail heavy, build a lighter tail, or use the nose only has to be long enough to balance the tail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
you're talking about the moment of inertia there, yes. If you put your elements around the CG, I've obviously have the least moment of inertia over there. And I think that's one of the things that can be a plus in electric, because if you look at the overall weight of the electric system, it's kind of the same as internal combustion if you add the battery, the motor, and stuff like that. But you have the heavier component, which is the battery, much closer to the CG, and the motor, it's a little bit lighter. It's closer to the nose. So you kind of like transferring some weight from your motor into your fuel tank per se. It just moves everything closer to the CG automatically by if you go with the electric. But I think that's another reason for which some electric planes are inherently tail heavy, because the battery, which is the heaviest element, is closer to the CG. So,
well, guys, I gotta go to bed. I haven't even eaten dinner yet.
Okay.
Right.
One quick question. Maybe you can contribute to it. As far as making like a hatch and lining up the holes, how do you do that? Like even like a cowl, you can attach a cowl and you want the holes to line up. Like let's say you're going to have the holes on the side of the cowl, and it's going to go through the fuselage, and you can have an attachment. How do you make those things work?
I do mine different. Do you still have the nose ring on your airplane?
Not yet.
I put the nose ring on, and then I drill an 1/8 inch hole in the nose ring on the bottom, and then build the cowl up to the nose ring with another half nose ring on it, drill through the two, and then let me show you here. I don't have the nose ring on this yet, but you'll get the idea.
He's pinning it at the front, Charles.
Right.
All right, I follow you.
Okay. Here's the fuselage. The nose ring is here.
Right.
You build the cowl. I put a pin at the front. Then I put a 3/4 inch piece of light fly here with one 440 blind nut in it. So you put the cowl on.
Right.
All the planes are done like this. Put the cowl on, you pin it there, and then one bolt right there. Randy, if you look at Stunt Hangar, I think it's on the first page. Randy has some drawings on those SV11 styles where they bolting them from the side, which I don't like.
Yeah, I don't like them either. They don't look very good.
Right. But that's how I do this stuff.
But Charles, you say they don't look very good, but do you really see them after you put a cowl on?
Oh yeah.
I think you see them.
Yeah, they're sticking out there on the side.
Yeah.
If the cowl is off, yes. But when it's on, you put the screws on, you can't see them.
They're sticking out right here on the side of the fuselage. One there and
Oh,
one there.
oh, you mean about the screws being visible over there on the side?
Right. Yeah. The way I do it is one screw into a hole.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, I don't really care about those screws on the side. I think they kind of look cool, but oh well. It's matter of
I was
See,
thinking about using little tiny magnets. I was wondering if you could buy
and
them.
Oh, yeah, I see that, Sparky. Yeah. Okay.
screw there, and it's
Um,
pinned at the front.
and
yeah,
highlight Sparky. There
yeah.
we go.
Charles, do you have a tune pipe on yours, or it's
It's going to be a tune pipe.
okay? So yeah,
You'll need two, one on each side, then, so you can leave the
yeah.
tunnel.
That's
Which,
why I asked. Yeah.
which this other one? Let me show you how that's set up.
Uh-huh.
My tune
Thank you,
pipe.
Sparky.
Yeah. So that's that. Um. Yeah. The way I look at it, it's and should we say good night?
Here,
Yeah.
You're going to show
See.
me the tune pipe.
Charles, there's the tune pipe one there.
Let me click on you. Okay. Oh, yeah.
One on each
Yeah.
side. The
I
pipe
see. Very good.
down the middle.
Yeah.
Very
But it's done the same way.
Yeah.
okay.
High roller. I love those dice. That's great looking.
Mhm.
Thank you, Sparky.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Thanks, Sparky. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah. Good night, Sparky. Thanks for coming
Yeah,
in.
good night, Sparky.
Uh, so the when I made my bird, I pushed the elevator back there, and I did push it because just simple physics, right? If you want, what's turning the plane? It's not the elevator moving the tail up and down; it's the lift that you create on a wing, right? The wing
Okay.
is what turns the plane. So what makes the wing creates the lift besides the change in airfoil from the flaps
Ankle of attack.
is
Is
the
that what?
angle of attack. Yeah, exactly. And that has a lot more influence than the flaps moving. So you can have a wing with no flaps, but if you change the angle of attack, that thing is just gonna have a lot of
Yeah.
lift to it.
The
So
flaps are just kind of a helper, I think. Right. That's
yes,
the way I look at them.
yeah, you alter the airfoil, basically. You have an
Yeah.
under camber airfoil, right?
Hmm.
And so if you're looking at what's the role of the elevator, just the basic role of the elevator, it creates a torque that changes the attitude of the wing relative to the direction of flight. So if you're flying in this direction, this is your wing, right? But the
Right.
Yeah.
elevator makes the wing do this, but you're still moving in that direction, right? So as the angle of attack changes in this direction, you create a lot of lift and the plane pitches, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's torque? Torque is a force multiplied by a distance, right? In this case, is the force from the elevator, right? And you multiply by the distance from the center of pressure, because that's where it pushes down, to the center of gravity, is the center, the point at which around which the plane rotates, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for the same elevator, same deflection, same force that it produces, where is going to give you the most torque?
Further away.
The further away you go, exactly. So the further away you're going to go with the elevator, what's going to happen? Two things are going to happen. Number one, it's a lot more stable platform in level flight and stuff like that. And second, when you deflect that elevator, it has so much torque that is going to change the angle of attack of the wing, and the plane turns so fast. So
Right.
so I say, if you build a heavy plane, this would be your ticket, right? Go
Right.
with a if you build a plane heavy, just put the elevator back another inch, an inch and a half.
Now, what about making the elevator uh, wider? Instead of being 2 inches wide, and I'm not talking about the width from
Uh-huh.
side to side, but
Talking
let's say
about hard.
front of the frame to the back, make it longer. That
Yeah.
length, that length longer is going to have more
Okay.
torque
then
also, right?
all right, let's think about it, right? Lift is directly proportional with the surface area, right?
Yeah.
So you can look at it both ways, right?
Right.
If you have more surface area, it's the same like having a longer moment arm, right?
Hmm.
If you do the math to it, say you increase your surface area by 10%, right?
Right.
Right? You're gonna have 10% more lift. Simple
Right.
as that, right? Now, if you leave your surface area as the same and just move it back 10%, guess what? You're gonna get the same thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does because my Strega wasn't turning very well, so my Strega arc. So what I did is I actually added 3/8 long stick. I glued it to the back of the elevators on both sides
Hmm.
to create more surface area, what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And now the plane turns. And
Is
then
it
I,
heavy?
oh yeah, it's heavy.
Okay. All
It's
right. So this is
75 ounces.
okay. This is what I have to say about heavy planes, Charles. Okay, they can fly pretty darn good. Okay, that's number one. I'm going to tell you, they can fly pretty darn good, but you cannot treat them as a light plane because the plane is heavy. It already wants to track. I mean, a freight train will want to stay in that direction and keep going forever, right? It's kind of hard
Right,
to make it turn and go in other direction, right? If
right,
I make the
right,
same freight train out of balloons, I can move it very easily around, right?
right,
Make
right.
sense? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So it's already tracking inheritant because it's heavy. It's going to track very well. Okay. So you don't have to worry about tracking. Now this brings me to the second point, which is CG location. Okay. And this is the key. Uh, with a heavy plane, you can afford to push the CG so far back and have plane just nice and steady. And then
Hmm.
when you ask the plane to turn, the further back you push the CG, the easier it's gonna turn.
Yeah, look at it like an axle.
Oh,
You
I'm with you because I actually added an ounce and a half to my Strega from last year,
on a
and
tail
now it
probably.
turns now like. And then I even shaved. I had another gentleman recommend that I shave the flaps down. I took off a half inch off the flaps,
Why?
and the plane turns.
Nah, don't shave off the flaps or something like that. That's not. So so the idea is that it's this is a progression, right? So you find a CG where you can keep pushing the CG back until the plane starts to hunt, right? Once it
Okay.
starts to hunt, back it off a little bit, right? So you have at that point you have maximum turn and nice tracking, right?
All right.
Okay, two things gonna happen here, right? It may fly fine, but it may be too fast for you. May loop too fast. Your controls may be too hot, right?
Right.
What you do at that point, you don't mess with the plane. Now you mess with your line spacing on your
Yeah.
handle. So
Right.
you squeeze it in until the plane flies the way you like it to fly.
Right. Right.
So you suit with the handle spacing. Now you make it the response of the plane to suit your flying style. This is
Right.
important, okay? And a third thing I have to add to this, as the CG is going to start to creep back, well, obviously the lead out position has to play with it. But I just find the CG first, where it's nice and stuff like that, and then just play with the lead outs, find that, and then find your handle position to the point it just flies to your flying style and uh, shorten up or fast the flaps because the plane turns too fast or something like that. I think it's BS. Um, Another thing that happens as you push the CG back, you're gonna find out you have a lot less deflection on the control surfaces. Okay, what does that mean for a heavy plane? That means you have less drag on a plane. The plane is gonna turn, it's gonna maintain its momentum, its speed, right?
Right.
So it can plow and continue and go to the next corner. So
Oh,
long story short, what I have to say is if the plane is super light, You can go the setup for a plane, the super light, would probably be a nose heavy plane. Uh, you trim it towards the nose heavy side, and you favor that. If it's a heavy plane, you favor the tail heavy side,
I probably,
right? Because
yeah,
it's yeah, and because the plane is light, a nose heavy, a light plane, even if you have more deflection, its ability because it's light, they both have the similar amount of power on them, right? But
right,
the light one will accelerate a lot faster, get back up to speed a lot faster than the heavy one, right? So
right. I
on a
follow you.
heavy plane, you want a lot less drag to it, right? You want to maintain the momentum because you cannot accelerate, you cannot afford to lose the speed. And
That's
I
interesting. Okay,
and I hope this is just common sense, just you
yeah,
know,
it makes perfect sense.
yeah.
It makes
Uh,
perfect sense.
I
Hey,
think,
Steve.
Hey,
yeah. When I was setting up the revolutions, I just want to have a sharp corner on it, and that thing can corner better than anything I ever seen. But it got to the point that I cannot keep up with it. That's my problem. My problem is not that the plane cannot do it. The plane can do far more than I will ever ask from it, right?
Well,
But
that's a nice
I,
problem to have.
I, I can't physically keep up with it.
Wow,
When you give it in input, it disappears like a UFO, like in a fog, and appears on the other side on the 90-degree direction change. And you say, how the heck did it get there?
where did it go? Yeah, I remember
You
the first time I flew an FIA combat plane. I was like, where'd it go?
Yeah.
but it's kind of weird. You just see it here, and then it's like that. The transition is what happened here? you,
Yeah, where'd it? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you just see here, and then you see it over there, kind of in these two spots, right?
That's pretty good. So you just focus on the legs. You don't even worry about the corner.
From
You just,
here, it disappears and appears over there somewhere, and
Yeah.
sometimes it climbs
You
a
get a
little bit,
little,
sometimes it dives
you get
a
a
little
little
bit.
sonic pop right at every corner, huh?
wow.
Like a whip.
Yeah, it's
Well,
it's
I like what you said, Brian. I'm gonna actually, I might add some more tail weight just to see if I can find where it starts to hunt, so I'll know where the end of the envelope is at. Just
yeah.
so I know
I mean,
because I
Yeah,
haven't gone,
that's that.
I haven't gotten that far. I haven't gotten to the point where it's gotten hunt where it starts to hunt.
keep
Yeah,
going.
So I
that should be.
or
I was doing that last plane. I seriously trimmed. Well, I guess the P40, but my twister, I put a lot of time into trimming that, and that's what I was doing. I found where it hunted, and then eased up on it, and I was ended up way behind. The CG was way behind where the plan said it should be, but
yeah, yeah.
before
I
that
moved my back too.
flew.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. My
My,
CG on Revolutions is close to 4 inches back from the leading edge.
And what's
yeah,
the length of the cord?
It's I think 13 and a quarter.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, it's way back there.
30. Yeah, that's 30% or so.
what intrigues me most, trying what you said, is about the drag, and because I actually today when I was trimming my plane, I actually kept raising the elevator horn to quicken the elevator versus the flap, and but I like what you're saying that if I move the CG back, I have less deflection and less
Mm,
drag.
yeah.
And with a heavy plane going up about 45 degrees,
Hmm.
I don't need any more drag. So I'm actually going to try. I might
Yeah.
end up adding tail weight and then move the
Hmm.
push rod back
Hmm.
where I had originally had it.
Yeah. Where I think the mistake happens is that everybody goes like, "Oh, I'm using this handle, and this is the spacing I'm gonna have on a handle, no matter what. This is what I like. This is me, whatever. But
No,
that's a mistake because the
yeah,
spacing
that's
in there is just used to match the plane flying, cornering, turning ability to your flying style. That's all the spacing does over there. You shouldn't be like, oh, I want to have my spacing 4 inches, 5 inches, whatever. and that's it, because that's gonna, it's gonna paint you in a corner. The only the only way you can get away with the same spacing over there, if you have, like I have in my plane, I have the ability to lower the travel on my elevator and the flaps, make it whatever I want to have. So it's kind of the same like changing the spaces, but just slightly different spot, right? But if your
Right.
stuff is locked inside the plane and you have no access to it, then the only place you can change it at your handle. So that's that. Uh,
Yeah. Well, I
but
had that slot elevator horn, so I can slide up and down as much as I want.
yeah, yeah, which is nice. Yeah, I think 1-to-1 is just about right on most planes. I use 1-to-1 on mine. I don't have
Yeah.
any issues because uh, i- now if it's light, you might want to have a little bit less flaps. I think it's better with a little bit less flaps. You can go 3/4 to 1 if it's a light plane. But if it's a heavy plane, you need the lift, so 1-to-1 is fine. And and if you have that, that's cool.
Yeah,
Um,
if you get too much elevator in over flaps coming out of a square, you see these airplanes and they come out, they do that little bump.
mhm,
Yeah.
They need to take
yeah,
less out of the elevator.
yeah. But that's a cool place where you can play with the handle spacing. If we do that all the time, close the spacing a little bit. So for your same input, it's gonna be a little bit less. So it's gonna stop where you want it to stop this time, right?
Yeah.
And that does kind of two things. It's going to stop flat and level without doing that bouncy bounce, right? And the second thing is going to do is going to be easier to fly because you have less sensitivity on it, right? So it's easier to do loops, easier to fly level, easier to track in verticals and stuff like that. So that's a good place to be actually. If you do the
Yeah, I'm gonna
bouncy bounce, if you do the bouncy bounce and overshoot it, then that's, I think it's just squeezing the handle spacing a little bit. Don't change anything about the way you fly, and it should be fine.
Yeah. I think my plane when I come out of the corner is not bouncy bounce as much as it is. It's kind of weird. It's like a wing walk kind of thing. Steve, I know you come in late on the conversation, but it's kind of like a wing walk,
What is a wing walk?
like
You
a
talking
roll.
about the tail waggle?
Um, you know what? It's I I'm still trying to figure out what it's doing.
Is
I,
it
you know,
doing? Are the wings doing this?
I get some of that. I get a little bit of a yawing also. It's kind of a combination of
And
a yawing action and a roll.
Okay.
That's hinging.
yeah, they call it hinging.
But it yaws too. It's a yawing action also.
But I think there are two
Like head
different. You're
rolling.
looking at two different things, Charles. I think you're looking number one, maybe one of your flaps. It's weaker than the other one, takes more of a bite or less of a bite, right? Or it warps a little bit. So that's going to give you a roll, right? Now the yaw comes from the big propeller because if you say using like a 13-inch prop, that's probably a heavy 13-inch prop, 3 blade. It's a heavy prop, right? When you start to spin that thing, you're going to get a lot of uh, some yaw from it, right?
Oh, I hadn't even tried a two blade. Maybe it would go away if I went with a two blade prop. Right. I haven't
That's
tried
what
it.
the Raby rudder is supposed to compensate for, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I'm not really sure. I know Wendy liked it because it gave the top of his hourglass. Yeah, a lot of tension on top of his hourglass with the Raby rudder.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's what he liked about it.
Okay.
Samantha had a Banshee that we franchised or whatever. With everyone said, you got to add a bigger elevator and stuff like that.
Yeah, fancherized it. Fancherized it.
Yeah. What up? The only thing is that was the worst flying airplane because she had the time on turns because that damn thing did that tail waggle.
Mhm.
And the only
Yeah.
thing we could figure out is that when she turned, it stalled the airplane, brought it in,
Mhm.
then the motor would take back over, bring it out, and it just do this walk.
Mm-hmm.
Then when it got straight, she'd hit it again, and that son bitch would walk across.
Mm-hmm.
Because loops and all that kind of stuff, it never bothered. It was just anything with a square, her hourglass. She turned hard. That son of a bitch would do that with the tail.
Like a fish, like that.
Yeah.
So what was the solution?
We build another airplane.
I don't want that solution.
I think the tail was too draggy. It had too much tail. I think if we'd have cut it back off to what the original tail was, I don't think it would have did that. But something was just, she'd turn it, you could just watch that airplane slow down. It was just dragging it down, and the engine would pick up, and that damn thing would walk like
Well,
crazy.
I could trim my ribby rudder off a little bit. I could make it smaller.
Yeah, because that or straighten it out and don't let it do anything. Try it.
That's what Sparky recommended. I mean, I guess it wouldn't hurt to try it and see if it goes away. And I know that's where the problem is.
But yeah, that Banshee, she flew that at the NAS that year, and David Fitzgerald was helping to try to trim on it. Banjack, everybody, they got it better, but it's still, it never was right. Last year, just for going out and having fun and stuff, still had the motor on it. She goes, let's take that Banshee out, you know? She goes, I always loved how that airplane looked and everything. All right, so we take it out. She flew one flight with it. And even before the flight was over, I see she flew straight and level. She goes, still flies like a turd. She goes, we'll keep it to look at, but I ain't never going to fly it again.
Is this Lucky or Lynn? Here we go.
I flew a Banshee one time and I didn't like it. However, I did like the Twister.
Oh,
hey, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
Hey, gentlemen.
Hey, Len.
Hey, how's it
You been
going?
watching?
So did you remember to charge them glow drivers?
You talking to me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, I have
Yeah,
another.
Yes, I
talking
did.
to you.
Yes, I did.
Oh,
It was a good ringmaster weekend.
Oh, very good.
We only went out the one day because we had to work, but we got 77 flights in.
Wow. Very good.
Yeah, it worked out okay.
Yeah, we got 70 in, the three of us.
Good
Oh,
show.
that's pretty good.
I think we had 5 people or 6.
But we did the electric deal. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that
because
makes it better.
we hooked it on a RC car controller.
Right.
And you got to do 5 laps. So we do 5 laps, land,
And hand it off.
touch it, take back
Land it
off.
and give it to somebody else.
And we're seeing how far we can roll it out, take it back off. Sometimes we'd stop and land and take off. And
That's good.
we
Good
have a lot.
fun.
Wow.
If I'd had more batteries, then
Is that the plane in the background?
yeah, that little green and yellow or whatever.
Awesome.
Very cool. Hey
Yeah,
guys, I just came in to help Rusty, and now that he has a party, I'm gonna leave so I can work on my Strega some more. I'm getting ready for a contest this weekend.
All right.
So,
Thank
guys,
you
I'm
for your
going down.
support, Charles. I appreciate it.
Good to see you, Charles.
Yeah, take it easy, man.
Good night.
Good night.
So what you been doing for fun, Lynn?
Working. Not much fun, but it's okay.
That doesn't sound like fun. Yeah.
Is it cold there?
Yeah, it's cool. I wouldn't say it's cold, but it's cool. It's not freezing, but it's a lot cooler than it was, I'll tell you that.
We had frost warnings here tonight.
Oh wow. I don't know. I don't think we had those, but maybe we did. I'm not sure. I haven't listened to the news today, so I don't know.
It got to 50 today, which wasn't bad, but Sunday it was only 43 degrees here.
Okay.
You're still
Well, I've been
getting to
working at
the
the grocery store, so I haven't seen anything all weekend because it's Thanksgiving here, so we had a really busy weekend. Work, work, work.
Is your Thanksgiving similar to ours?
Yeah, pretty much. Just a little earlier.
Yeah.
I was at the tire shop today, and telling the guy there, I see them putting tires, bringing tires in, stuff like that. Like, they were pretty busy. I'm like, man, you guys are really busy. He said, yeah, we had a sale yesterday and stuff. He said, we're getting ready for Black Friday. I'm like, oh, no kidding. Is that a big day? He goes, last year, the one Bell Tire, just that store I was at, so $75,000 in tires in one day.
Wow.
That's a lot of tires.
$75,000. They said it took them a month to put all the tires on
Oh, that's
for everybody to.
huge.
So they could sell them, but not put the shoes on. Got it.
Yeah, they couldn't. But that's the deal. You had to make they get them at a good price, but you gotta make an appointment to have them put on. So people get there early in line, so they can get the earliest time to put them on. Like, holy
That's
cow!
wild.
It's not worth that much time out of my life just to get a good deal on something.
No, me
I
either.
don't worry too much about it.
I'm getting to be the same way. It's like, why bother?
Hey, what happened to Charles? You guys beat him up?
He wanted to work on his plane. He was doing something with it. Said he's going to a contest this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Getting all warmed up.
Yeah. I'm still like I said, I wish I had more time to do that 40 size the new plane that I'm thinking about. It's a woody plane 40 size, and I was getting some numbers from the vector, like surface area mainly, but that's about it. But everything else has changed.
Mm-hmm.
So
why is it all changed? Don't like the numbers?
No. I was it's just slightly different philosophy, of aerodynamics, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to have a little bit thinner airfoil on the wing, a lower aspect ratio on the tip, elliptical airfoil, geodesic build, elliptical platform. So the wing is going to be very special.
A lot more technical, yes.
Yeah, I like you thinking about the aspect ratio tapering towards the tip. It makes a lot of sense. So you don't have that much weight lugging at it out there.
Yeah. Every time I could fly, if you watch plane flying in turbulence or in the wind, right? You're gonna see the rolling action of the plane. It does this all the time. It never settles. It just does this all the time, and that's why. And if flying turbulence or in windy weather or something like that, there are just a handful of planes that I know and I've seen they fly very well in those conditions.
Yeah, and that's the worst points when you're doing your inverted flight, especially is when it's on a windy day. That's the time you least want it, wobbling back and forth because the wind's buffeting the wings.
Yeah, that's a lot more stable. Yeah, and from my recollection, I know wind is Spitfire, the other Moscow is Spitfire, and the Shark were about the only planes that I saw, and they flew beautiful in the wind. What do these all three have in common? An elliptical platform, which automatically gives you an elliptical lift distribution, and that's the key. The lift distribution on a wing, how much lift you have on the sections, and if you have this big fat airfoil on the tip, you have a lot of lift. I mean, the lift is kind of flat and then just drops at the tip, so you have a lot of this extra lift that shouldn't be there on the wingtips, and they just not stable. They want to roll. They never stabilize in a roll. They want to do this all the time. It's just
they
nature
also
of the
in
beast.
flat flight they do this too, jumping up and down. The thick wing tends to jump up and down a lot in level flight as well.
And I don't think so. It's like if it's turbulent. I get that echo again. So I think when you have turbulence, you have turbulence. If you have two identical planes, the light one is going to jump more, the heavier one is going to do less,
Okay.
just because it's heavier.
Okay.
It's just that. So two planes in the same spot at the same time react differently to the turbulence, right?
Yes.
Then we're talking about thermal here, just if it jumps up and down, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, it would be just tracking. The plane doesn't track. That's a different story. So we're assuming planes that are, well trimmed in the same spot, basically.
Well, that's why I'm doing that USA AMA.
Mhm. Yeah.
It was a 35 size airplane with 620 square inches.
Where's that echo coming from?
Not sure.
Somebody got that. You might have your speakers turned up too loud, Trey.
I don't have speakers.
Started.
I'm using the headphones and the mic here.
Oh,
I have no
that's right.
speakers.
Let me see
I
if I
just
can.
turned mine down a bit. Did that change anything?
I know.
Am I
Yes,
echoing
it's
now?
fine now. Yeah, no echo.
It's fine.
Good now.
Yeah.
You know, that night we were echoing so bad I had to delete the shows. That was me. My speakers were just too loud. And I realized when I got out of the hospital, I had tinnitus so bad that I couldn't hear, and so I was turning everything up higher, and that's why
Oh,
it didn't seem
Okay.
different to me, but it was feeding back.
Yeah. For me, this iPhone headphones work great. They have a very good mic, which is fairly close to my mouth.
Hmm.
So probably there's no fluctuation when you talk to somebody, turn around and do stuff
Yeah,
like
it
that.
sounds pretty good. I've seen some of them that did not work well, but yours do. Do
Yeah.
you hear your voice through the earbuds?
No.
That's good. I had a problem with that one night too when I was using the earbuds. I could hear myself, and it got confusing.
That's probably the echo that you're hearing.
Yep.
Yeah.
you gotta quit talking to yourself if you're confusing yourself when you hear yourself there, Rusty.
Yeah.
Must be all
Just be
day.
looking around. Who's
Yeah,
that?
my brain hadn't been quite right yet. I'm still recovering my mental facilities, my mental faculties.
Yeah.
In the next couple of days, I don't have Len's number, but I got you guys'. I got a new phone, and I'll be texting you my my new phone number.
Okay.
Okay.
616. So yeah, I'm getting laid off, and I'm retiring and all that kind of good stuff. So
Good for you, Steve.
find something else to do, or
That's good for you, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I wanted to work till I was 65, but it ain't gonna work out that way.
So when is your official retirement date?
I got one more big job I'm showing everybody these big factories I take care of, what to do and where the stuff is at, and all that kind of stuff. And then I got one. Basically, I just have one left. There's another one that's not so big that I gotta take somebody to, but that won't be anything big. So, but a big Dayco factory. So,
yeah. So what I want to say about that the plane I was designing is that the build construction will be obviously going to have to have some things that are completely new in it, because it's kind of tough to make a geodesic elliptical wing, because it's just not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, right? So the idea was that I had is to completely even eliminate the blueprints to it. The blueprints will have just some small rectangles with some numbers inside of them. So if you look at the rib will have a code to it, right? So
Yeah.
that rib goes to that rectangular block. So what you do, you take a flat piece of your building board, you take the plants and you just 3M77 on top of that, and you take your ribs and you just glue them on top of those rectangular shaped spots, which locate them perfectly. Just put them vertical in position. So that's
Right.
basically is going to suspend the ribs and everything else in midair, exactly in position where they're going to go. And after that you can just put the top spar, the lower spar, the leading edge, and the next step would be to maybe just touch up the sharp corners, right, on the ribs, maybe with like a nail file or something like that, and just break off the corners a little bit.
Yeah, just give it a little radius so it doesn't
Yep.
chip up.
Exactly. And then you take the lower section, which is going to be done separate, on a block of, just mold it, just get it wet, put ace band-aids around it, and you do that separate on a block that will have just basically foam with plywood ribs in between them, and just shape it by hand, get in the ballpark.
Hmm.
I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but just in a ballpark, that's fine, right? And you take that thing, you just start to glue it start with with a trailing edge on the bottom, and just work on your way up. So you glue the bottom, and then you put the top on, just glue it on. Everything still sits on the table at this point, right? And and then on a trailing edge, you would have the sheet of balsa wood that would incorporate both the flaps and the trailing edge of the wing, right? So it's just a one piece wider than it's like that. So who has the radio on?
Somebody's got the radio on or the TV.
I got a TV on in the other room.
That's probably what we hear.
Yeah. And so what I would do after that on the trailing edge you will also have the part of the ribs and part of some blocks that are also going to be glued on the top of the table, right? So you slide this trailing edge sheeting on, you slide it forward, so now you can glue it on the bottom of the ribs, and then you install your hinge line, and the hinge line will have a Kevlar piece in between them. You put the top side, and now you put the top sheeting on. And once you close it with the top sheeting, the wing is pretty much done. At that point, all you have to do is after that is just make the V for the for the hinge to go up and down, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it should be a relatively simple build that's takes something that can be super complex but simplifies it a lot.
What other planes from, say, the World War II era warbirds, besides the Spitfire, can you think of that had a elliptical wing?
I think that's the only one that had it.
Seafire, same thing basically.
Yeah, it was just still a Spitfire with clip tips.
Yeah.
Different canopy.
Yeah, that's all. But yeah, but the aerodynamics is still the same. Spitfire, Fire, same thing. And actually, no, there was a racing plane that actually the guy that built the Spitfire was also elliptical. That was before that was a float plane. He built it for racing. Sorry about it.
I learned a lot about the Spitfire on I think it was a History Channel episode of Flying Aces, and they featured the Spitfire and talked about some of the quirks it had in flying that were different from the other planes.
Yeah.
Sometime in the next few years, I'm hoping to build a windy Spitfire. I'm sort of gathering the parts together now. A number of people had parts from Windy that they had kicking around in their basements and so forth, and they're passing them on to me. So I've got some exhausts now from Windy, and I've got canopy and different things that I've managed to obtain from sort of unobtainiums. So I'm I'm looking forward to it.
Does Wendy's
Leonard, I think you can do better.
I'm sorry?
I think you can do a lot better.
How do you mean?
Well, for example, you know, when I've seen the videos, I know exactly the whole build of the Spitfire, and for example, um, you could probably just make a plain a true I-beam wing with the more elliptical shape to it and stuff like that, and build it like Billy Warwood would make the I-beam wing. So
Right.
that's one thing I would do. Another thing I would do is instead of building the box for the fuselage and doing all that, you know, putting the top and the bottom blocks and shape and go through all the stuff in there, you can just simply make a double shell of 1/16 of an inch balsa, and you laminate
Like
it
make
together.
a buck type system where you make that
Yep.
and then mold
Yep.
it. Yeah, I think that's a good idea for the top and bottom. Do the molds. The blocks
Yes.
is a lot of work.
Yeah, and depending on which direction you want to go, say, I don't know, what do you want to do? You want to go electric or you want to go to IC?
I'll probably do IC. What I'm probably going to run
Alright,
it
cool.
is about a 60 size.
All right, fine. So if you decide to go IC, in that case, what I would do, I just get some 200 grams per square meter carbon fiber cloth and laminate the inside of the nose area all the way to behind the wing.
Right.
Okay. If you use a tune pipe, then you go in that area as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So after you laminate all that stuff, right, and you can the easy way to do it, just use thin CA and 3M77. Right.
Okay.
You take your cloth at 45 degrees, like this, plus minus 45 degrees, right? This is layout.
Yeah.
You don't go 0-90 in the fuselage is here, right?
Right.
The cloth goes in this direction.
Yeah.
Not that way.
On the diagonal. Okay.
Exactly. Plus minus 45 degrees in relation to the axis of fuselage. So what you do, you take some 3M77, right? And super lightly spray it on the cloth itself, right? And you drop the cloth inside, and you can fold like this in the center. You just make it like that, right?
That's right.
And go down all the way to the bottom. And then as you push it down, you see?
That's right. It gets right in tight to the whole surface.
Exactly. And cut it big enough so you have a little bit of extra. And take your scissors after that and just trim it nicely to the edge. Okay? And after that, you can use some thin CA. And just put the thin CA through it, and it's just going to wake through it, and it's going to fill in everything. It's just going to lock everything in place. You don't need epoxy for that.
That's true. Yeah. This is on the inside, you're saying, right? On the inside of the shell.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's going to give you a tremendous amount of rigidity with no ribs, no ribs anywhere inside.
Oh, I see what you mean. No formers.
No formers. Yeah, you don't need any.
Okay, got it. Now I get it. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So by doing this, you can have a super nice Spitfire-ish shape, right?
Right, but very light inside.
Very light inside, yeah. So you I mean, depends on how bananas you want to go on that idea. You know, you can put a little bit of dihedral, bring the wing low. You can make it a take apart. You can. I'm not sure what your ultimate goal would be, right? But
no, I don't really have any big ultimate goal for that airplane. The idea for the airplane is just to have a Spitfire that'll fly stunt. I'm not looking for something that's going to win a world championships or anything like that.
Yeah.
If I was building it, when I build an airplane to be competitive, I'm building a more traditional design all the time, like an Impact or something like that.
No, I think that particular plane that we're talking about right now, I think it will be just a kick-ass plane.
Right.
Will be
The
a killer.
Spitfire, you mean?
You know who
Spitfire
Gary
will be a killer
Lutz
plane.
is, Len?
I'm sorry?
You know who Gary Lutz is?
Yes. I don't know him personally, but I know who he is. Yes.
He may
He
let you
built
borrow.
a Spitfire. Yeah.
All them guys built Spitfires back in the day,
Yeah.
and they got jigs to get the tip of the wing, to finish off that tip of the wing and stuff.
Right.
And I know he still has his. He may let you borrow that.
Yeah, that might be necessary. That might be useful. I'm not sure. Like, I haven't really studied the plans closely yet. I have all the plans for that airplane. I even have the original Mylars from Windy. I have all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Like, I have the original drawings for both the Spitfire and the Seafire. If anybody out there wants a plan, I could probably get one for them because I have all the original drawings. But I don't have any drawings for the 90 Spitfire, the last one he did.
Yeah,
I have drawings for the original one, the old one, and the Seafire. That's all I have.
Yeah, I've seen.
You'd have to be Shaquille O'Neal to fly that 90 size.
Actually,
Oh, I have a 90.
actually, what
I
he
don't find
said,
it to be
he
that
said
big a
that 90
problem.
is not gonna pull harder than a 60.
No, they pull
Yeah.
the same.
How about the
The
same?
90 pulls the same as the 60. You're right about that, Tryon. It's the same thing. The way you tune it down is the idea is you have gobs of power, but you're not using all that power.
Mhm.
You're only using the power and so that it has lots of power, but you don't need all the power.
Rich
Yeah.
Jacobone built the 90 Stuka.
Yes, he did.
And he flew Windy's 90 Spitfire.
How
And
could he?
he
He flies
said-
the opposite direction.
He can fly both.
Oh, I didn't know that. I've never seen him fly the other way.
Yeah. He can
Okay.
so he can fly, I don't know if he flew the whole pattern or whatever.
Okay.
But he
But he
said
flew
that
the
them
Spitfire.
airplanes pulled so hard that he only flew that Stuka for a few contests, and then now he gave it to a museum or whatever.
I'm not
Okay.
surprised if the plane wasn't very heavy.
But you know what's interesting is that I have Windy's Novanta, the first 90 ship that he built.
Hmm.
I have that airplane and I've flown it now 3 times. It doesn't pull any harder than a 60.
Hmm.
Now, on the other hand, my 90 ship that I built myself, that orange one that I built, I've had it at Brodax a couple of times. That pulls. It pulls a lot harder.
Now let me ask
So
you a
go
stupid
figure.
question. And the stupid question is, logic has, if the plane pulls hard, slow it down.
Most definitely. That's true.
And check your yaw.
Like it
make
doesn't need,
sure it's not
yeah.
yawing out too much.
Yeah. It just slow it down. If it's too fast, if it pulls hard, you can
Back
slow
it
it
off.
down. Why not
Back it off.
slowing down? That idea isn't that the idea?
Well,
Fly as slow as
even,
this.
I
Yeah,
either slow it down or I move the lead outs forward a bit. That stops the pull.
I like the
It
idea of
works.
slowing it down. It makes it a lot more relaxing to fly.
Most definitely.
course.
Like I found the Novanta very relaxing to fly, the Windy's 90 ship. But my 90 ship is not relaxing to fly. It tires me right out. After 3 or 4 flights, I've had enough for the day with mine. But there's a difference. Windy's weighs 67 ounces. Mine weighs 88 ounces.
right.
That's the difference.
Hence the pull.
Hence
Yeah.
the pull, yes.
And that
Yeah,
was
with an
that
80
was-
Still, it pulls, right? Slow it down.
Right. True. So,
but then it
if
has
it's
no
got enough
vertical.
authority to pull the line set tight. It's got enough authority to fly slower.
Yeah, but to
True
pull
enough.
it down, you'd have to go with a more or less a bigger prop and less pitch and stuff like that.
yeah,
So-
like I'm running a Doran prop on mine.
Right.
4-blade meat slicer, that
Well, yeah,
I
if
don't know.
80 some
It's
ounces,
what-
you got to pull
it's what-
straight up. Needs more horsepower.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
True enough.
You know, so
If I
down,
slow it down,
you can slow the engine down. It comes, yeah, they don't pull much, and it goes up and goes.
you got it. That's exactly it. It pulls hard, but if I slow the engine down, it goes soft in maneuvers.
Yep.
Hey, Len, my middle name is Doran.
I'm sorry.
I was making those props.
Yeah.
I wondered if it was you.
I'm the guy who made those props. I'm the guy
you
who
made those props, and you.
Yep.
I have your mold.
Ah, you had the mold? Cool.
I have the mold.
Yeah.
Remember the mold you sent to Wendy? I have it here.
Yeah.
He wants it back now.
No, it's fine.
You need it back?
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I didn't know when they gave it to you, but yeah. I
Well,
thought
he wasn't going to use it anymore.
Yeah. It's a
Good
beast.
mold.
It's a beast. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it is a beast. It weighs a ton.
Yeah. Use MGS if you make props out of it.
MGS?
MGS resin, yes.
I was going to use the one that Wendy used, the
EPON X62?
EPON. Yeah, EPON 862, or I think it's 862.
You have to change to MGS. MGS is far better resin for that. The EPON, what the EPON was, I didn't like the EPON because the EPON was giving like on a trailing edge of the propeller blades, give me like an under camber, which would change the airfoil, the actual airfoil.
Okay.
So that's that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, but those are good props. It's like
excellent prop. That's an excellent prop. Outstanding prop. I mean, that 4-blade prop, it's what Wendy called an 8400 prop. He was running 8400. Ran beautiful. Still does. Runs outstanding on the 90, on the Road Jet 90. It's like it just locks it right in. I was running a 2-blade rev up 15.5. Not nearly as good as your prop. Not even close.
Yeah.
As soon as I put the other prop on, it was like, whoa, it was like night and day.
Yeah, Wendy liked it too. He, I think he used the 16 something rev up on it too, but he changed to my prop for during the contest.
Different size props did you make?
I had a single mold with 2 sets of inserts inside of it. One was for a 4-inch pitch, and another set of inserts that was for 3.75 pitch.
Now, which pitch do I have?
Probably 4, and it's repitched.
That'd be the 4.
It's probably repitched as well. Probably pitched it up because at that low RPM, I don't see how the prop will pull it at the speed.
Yeah, not the 3 pitch. No way, it wouldn't pull it. This
I mean,
pulls
4.
it with authority.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 4 pulls it with authority.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we got a message from Gerald Wimmer out there about the elliptical wing. I asked earlier what other warbirds had elliptical wings, and Gerald chipped in. He said, of course, the Supermarine Spitfire. We know the German Heinkel HE-70 and Heinkel HE-111 bomber, the Aichi D3A dive bomber, Mitsubishi A5M Republic P-47 Thunderbolts, almost elliptical wings, squared off tips. And then he says, hello, guys. Ran out of room to say that. Hey, Gerald, thanks for chipping in on that.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, through Wendy, there was a lot of airplanes that had the elliptical wings.
Right.
The Spitfire and stuff. And then Joe
Adamusco. Yeah, he built a number of airplanes. Almost all of his airplanes in the last 20 years have been elliptical wings.
Yeah, it's like even the new Cheetah.
Yeah, he loves them. He loves the elliptical wing.
He clips the tips on them, but they're a true elliptical, and then he does different things with the tips or whatever.
Yeah, they're basically all the Spitfire wing. They're just changed the shape around a little bit.
Some are a little bigger, some a little smaller, but
Yeah. Yeah, Len, if you want to make your own props and you have questions.
Oh, you're the man. I'll be asking you. Don't worry. That's great. Because I wasn't sure. I'm really I'm very new to the molding of. I've never molded anything in my life. I haven't got a clue. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Never tried it.
Yeah. Okay. It's not hard.
When you wet the like he gave me a roll of carbon fiber tow to make the props with, right?
Okay.
When you wet that in the resin, how do you do? I don't know how to do that. Like, how do you have to have a certain machine for that, or can you just dip them in, or how does it work?
The toe is like string, right?
So
It's
what
like a string. Yeah, it's almost. It's like stranded. This carbon fiber tow.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. What I did, imagine you have a cup. You have a cup. That's
Right.
You put the resin inside of it, right?
Yeah.
And then what the strand would come this way, would be pushed down through the cup.
Yeah. Oh, okay, so you put a stick through the cup, basically.
Kind of like a stick, something that pushes it down. Yeah.
So you
But it
pull
was
it
more
through there.
elaborate than that. Yeah, mine was more elaborate than that because what I did, I would cut them to the proper length, right?
Right.
So I had a scale on one side, and as after it was getting out from the cup, I had like a dowel pin with a rubber band around it that would just squish it, right, to squeeze out the excess resin. So it's just basically I was pulling it out through this thing, right? It was already
so it's wet but not dripping when you put it in the mold.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But you can do that. You can do that with rubber gloves, right? So you can get your strand and just get your rubber gloves, hold one end, and just.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. As long as you're wearing the rubber gloves. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. That's all there is to it, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So now once you get it all in the mold and you get it all clamped up,
you are way
how long
ahead.
do you let this?
You are way ahead. You are way ahead of yourself. Okay. Is the layout that goes in there, right? That's what you need to worry about. What goes in there, how much?
Okay. Yeah, like I have no idea. I don't know how much.
Okay.
Is that trial and error, or do you know how much?
No, I know exactly how much. Okay.
Okay.
So you have a piece of paper over there?
Yep, I'll get it.
Okay, grab
There
a
we
piece
go.
of paper. I'll tell you. Okay. At the tip, you have 3 strands. At 14-inch mark, you have 3 strands. Right?
At 14 inches? Okay, that's at the end of the blade, yeah.
Yes, you have 3 strands, exactly 3 strands. Okay?
Okay.
And you add one more strand for each inch that you go in. So 14 is 3, 13 is 4. Exactly.
Now, do you put the short ones in first or the long ones first?
6 of one, half a dozen of the other, as long as you keep track of it.
Okay, so you have
put it in the right
3
place.
strands at 14 inches and 1 strand less for every inch in.
Yep.
Is that right?
Yep. So if you mold those
1 strand more, you said.
Oh, 1 strand more. Okay, so then at 13 inches you would have 4 strands.
So yeah, exactly. At 12 inches you have 5 strands. At 10 inches, so it's this is another so basically it's a strand that stops over there, right? So you have 3 that stops at the 13, and 1 that stops at 11, 1 that stops at 10, 1 that stops at 9, and they kind of overlap. They build up towards the center section, if you makes sense, right?
Oh, okay, that's making sense to me. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
And if you put them accurately inside, what's going to happen? You're going to have a nice balance on the blade right out of the mold.
Exactly. Yes. So the length is very important, and you need to measure when you're laying them in.
Yeah.
Got it.
Now there's another trick to it, right? So if you make a 4-blade prop, then obviously go from you just crisscross them 90 degrees, right?
Yeah, you're crisscrossing at the center. Yes.
Okay. So you cut 2 14ths, right?
Yeah.
And actually 3 14ths,
3 14s.
3
each way, so 6 total.
And it's by 113, 113, 112, 112, 110, 110. and go all the way down to about, I think I was going down to 6.
Down to
And that's
6,
where
and then after that, just you're done.
you're done. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. 6
you
inches
can go-
is
Yeah, you can go forward, aft. You just go
Okay.
because you have a pin in the center, right? So you can go around it.
yeah. Now the pin in the center, does it go in after? Or do
No,
you
you put it in when you have the mold assembled.
Okay, all right. Okay.
Now, do you put any of the like cut little pieces in around the center to fill?
No, you don't need that. I'll probably just use some splooge over there.
Yeah, that's what I heard most people take. What do you call it? Splooge?
Splooge.
What is splooge?
Splooge is a term. It's a term the composite guys use for goo that we mix up. So it's epoxy mixed up with some kind of a filler, right? And this
Okay.
some kind of a filler can have different purposes, different configuration, different shit, right? For your purposes, probably you want to use Cabosil. Okay.
Oh, I heard that. I've heard of Cabosil. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So give it some extra Cabosil on the center before you close it, right?
For a close up. Okay.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
that mold is made so you can configure it. You can make a 4-blade prop. You can make a 3-blade
Or a
prop.
3-blade prop.
Or
That's
a
right.
2-blade prop if you want to.
Right. The only thing is I don't have. When he gave me the mold, it was missing some of the round. You know, the round spacers, the steel round spacers
The pillars?
between the mold.
Yeah.
It was missing some of them. He didn't give me all of them, so I have to go to a machine shop and get some more of them made.
Yeah. You have
Only make a
you have to make
3-blade
sure that they're exact thickness.
I'm just going to have them replicate the ones that I have.
Okay, the thickness
ones
is
that Wendy
critical.
gave me. Is this Wendy gave me the mold? It was still set up for making 3-blade props.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But to make 4-blade props, you need to have more spacers.
More pillars, yes.
Yeah, more fillers. Well, he didn't have them. They were gone. I don't know what he did with them, but he didn't have them.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to have some more made.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's midnight, so I'm
Mhm.
calling it a night, and probably see you Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys have
All
a
right,
good
Steve.
week.
Sounds good, Steve.
All right,
All
Steve.
right,
Good
Steve,
night.
thanks
Yeah.
for coming in.
Bye.
Yeah. Len, the 3-blade prop, when you make the 3-blade prop, it's
Right.
you still use the same recipe, but you cut them slightly different, right? And if you think about the 3 corners of the 3-blade prop, right? You cannot do what you do on a 4-blade prop. So
All right.
so what's going to happen is that you go 14 around the hub, 14 to the other tip, right?
Yeah.
You start at the tip where you left, 14 around the hub, go to 14, right?
Yeah.
So with these 3 strands, you already have 2 at the tip, right?
Yeah.
Right? So on the next strand, maybe a 14, 14, but you completed the 3 tips, right? So you might end up, after that, you go 14 to 13, 13 to 13, 13 to 12, 12 to 11, kind of like that. So keep track of like as they go down, because that's how I made it.
Okay.
And here,
What I will do is when I get closer to actually making some props, I will talk to you more in depth about it, so I know exactly what to do.
yeah, it's a lot more to them that that.
Yeah, there's a little more to it than what I thought.
A bit more, yeah.
Sounds good. That's great, Tryon. I appreciate it.
Okay, cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah. A lot of people,
Now,
Carbon toe, it almost sounds
down.
like it's impossible for it to fly apart. I mean, sounds like it's really strong. Even it can't break at the hub area and fly out.
No, yeah, the hub is very strong. It's going to be very, very stiff, and it's no issues over there. The one place where you may have some surprises with a carbon fiber prop, if it's not done properly, it's if you have a prop strike.
Oh, most definitely.
The tip will split open like that.
Oh yeah, that's what Wendy gave me a few of the ones that he had split just so I could see what they looked like. They're not. It's not pretty.
Yeah. There is a way to get around it, Leonard, but you might have to add a little bit of material inside the prop.
Okay.
And the ticket to that is to add a piece of some Kevlar.
Okay.
Some Kevlar cloth, right?
Yeah.
Which is also at 45 degrees. And
Okay.
and what you want to do with that is that get your Kevlar cloth, right? And you make a pattern for the shape of the blade, and you take the Kevlar and you impregnate it with some thin CA, right? So basically you have the cloth, and take the pattern. After that, you trace the blade. It's just the tip of the blade, the last 3-4 inches maximum, right?
Yeah.
And you trace it with a pencil, and you just cut it with a pair of scissors.
All right.
And you put resin on both sides of it, and the last thing that you put in a mold is that.
Okay, so that really helps it stay together at the edges.
Exactly. It's going to hold the things together, and even if you strike the prop, it's not going to fray.
Yeah. Now I got a question for you. Can you cut those props down from their original size?
Yeah, that's what I did. I had the single mold that was up to 14 inches, and I was making props, whatever people want. If you don't want 12 inches, they just cut an inch off the tip.
Awesome. That's super. That's what I wanted to know. So in other words, making a 60 size prop is not a problem then?
No.
Okay. That's awesome.
No. But keep in mind they're slightly different from what you're used to, because those props are a lot thinner,
right,
a lot cleaner aerodynamic. So if you think of the load that he puts on a motor, the prop, each blade of the prop has a center of gravity and has a momentum of the mass of the prop, right?
Right.
So that's a mechanical load, right?
Yeah.
And each prop at the same time slices through the air, so it has an aerodynamic load.
Okay.
You add them both up, they give you the load on the motor. Make sense?
Okay. That's awesome.
So you're probably going to, because these are a lot cleaner aerodynamic, a lot lighter, expect to use, if you use a 12-inch in a past, like a Bali 12-inch, you're going to probably use a 13-inch, 12 and a half, 13, 12 and 3/4 on this prop.
Okay.
To match the load.
See, as for the pitch, I only have the four jigs, right? I have 4 jigs and I assume they're all 4 pitch. So I guess that's all Wendy was using. I don't think he made any with smaller pitch.
Yeah, I have only 2 sets of inserts over there. One set of inserts was for 3.75 pitch, and another set of inserts was for 4-inch pitch. Don't mix them up.
Yeah, but I didn't get the other set then. I just got the one set.
The set with the 4-inch pitch?
I think so. Whatever he was making. Well,
okay, fine.
Hold on. Here's the story. I have the set that he used to make 3-inch because they're still on the jig.
I mean the 3-blade.
They were left on the jig when I got it.
Yeah, and you have one extra set.
Or for making 3-blade props.
Uh-huh.
I also have one extra set of, you know what I'm saying, to make it into a 4-blade.
I got it. Yeah.
So now I assume it's the same, but I haven't checked it.
Yeah, I got it. I understand it now.
I will check and make sure that they're all exactly the same.
It has to be the same.
Okay.
It has to be.
But I know he was using those props for pipes as well as non-piped engines.
Yep, that's when he started to use those, he was using them almost exclusively as soon as he got his hands on them. He loved them.
Yeah, he really liked them, and Like I say, I've only used it a bit, but I really like it on my 90. It's a great prop.
Yeah. All right.
That's great. Thanks again. I'll talk to you more about that as I get closer to doing it.
Okay, cool.
Super.
Super. Okay. How about we call it a night?
How about we call it a night? Sounds good. Had good
Sounds good,
discussion.
Rusty.
I got a better idea. Let's call it a night.
Sounds great.
All right.
All right, guys.
Hey,
have a great
yeah,
week. We'll see you
everybody,
Friday.
Thanks for coming, and all you tubers out there. We had a good crowd. We had up to 20 at one time, and let's see. Let me look over there right now. It looks like we've got we got 12 still watching us. 2 of them are trolls, but I just took care of them. So anyway, I'm gonna end the YouTube stream right now. So
Okay.
thank you guys for coming, and we'll see you back Friday. And ending stream. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. Good night.
Thanks for running it, Rusty.